it over that we can recognize Miss Mackenzie. God, this is wonderful. Oh my God, it's like a dream come true. This is wonderful. Good to see you. So we have a saint in our midst. I think so. I think so. Everybody loves her. Can you imagine how many of us there must be?
That's Judy.
Judy, yeah. Hi, Judy. How are you?
Terrific. Very young.
Second.
That's like second.
That's
yeah.
second grade,
wow.
and I had some in third.
Yeah. Now I should be there, but I'm not.
Oh, no. Did I have you in second grade or third?
I can't remember one or the other. Might have been the third.
I don't have that picture. It's
yeah.
bad.
No, but these are all people of. Of course, it's only part of us. No.
No, that was the whole class.
That's the whole class.
Second grade, but I didn't have the picture.
But these are all
grade.
these people here that are here today, so I should be one of them, but I'm not. I must have been out of school that day. Do we have two sections? Oh, well, then that's it. No, I don't think so. I think that we had two sections in junior high school for the first time. No?
They had two. Yeah, they had two.
That's the one with Merrill and Michael Fleischer and everybody. Yeah? The Holy Terror. Isn't that right here? It's him.
Is that Steve Seltzer?
No, that's not Steve Seltzer.
No, doesn't look like
Paul
him.
Zonderman.
Oh. Hi, Larry.
How are you? You're terrific.
You've done such a good job of gathering
you
people.
trained me. You trained me.
We had a nice time up at Dick's last night.
Oh, you're so sweet. You're terrific. He said you came in all full of, you know, who knows what an 83-year-old woman's going to look like. She's going to, oh, come on, come on. You came in all full of
Vim and vigor.
vim and vigor.
Well, look, he sent someone up to drive him. He said it'd be in the middle of the afternoon, got that 8 o'clock. So he decided he, might as well drive. He said, I feel fine. And he's already knew. I said, sure, I'm not doing the driving.
So how many hours actually were you in the car from the time you left your house to the time you got to Interlaken?
Well, it was about midnight when he went to bed. It was probably maybe half an hour after. But he drove all the way up and back.
He must have been exhausted.
Yeah, he was.
Get you your card.
Fantastic.
Larry, I think
is
you're
here.
the one
And
that should
how
put
ahead
this
of
on
our
Mackenzie,
time our
Miss
clothes
Mackenzie,
were.
Yeah,
because
I'd be delighted. I don't think anybody's going to have trouble knowing
the
who she
reason
is.
he should give this to you is that he can read it. And it would not have happened without you.
That's right, right. If I wouldn't have been able to read that without you teaching me.
That's true. Isn't this fun?
Oh, isn't that wonderful? You got here all the way from Phillipsville.
Yeah, I mean,
what a
that was
trip.
how I went.
What a trip, Fred.
Well, not for me, but somebody else.
But I know. Wasn't that
Your
wonderful?
friend Dick.
Yeah, I know. He said, right to New Hampshire? You
He
went
came down. Yeah, I stayed at his place last night.
Oh, my God.
At midnight. Right at midnight.
You were riding all day long?
Had the nicest fellow
isn't
works for
that
him.
nice? Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
You look
How
good.
good to see you. Isn't it good to be
Well,
here?
I know when he's celebrating your daughter's birthday. I told you.
Today.
Today.
Yeah, it's today. She's 37 today. Yeah.
Well, some of these people.
But that's all right.
They've got kids 37 too.
And I mean, even at my age, I have two
Seen you somewhere
grandchildren.
before.
Yes. We had a good ride down.
Yes, we
Traveled
did.
We traveled together.
Yeah, isn't that nice? Yeah. No, I have two grandchildren now. They're only 3 years old and 11 months. You know, I married later. I waited. Oh, dear.
Would you like to sign this? This is something you want to give to Larry and to... There's 3 of them, actually.
I might give you this picture now to be sure that you get it. So,
Now, I'll remember this. In fact, I'll make sure that we make copies of it and get the original back to you, okay? This is just wonderful.
Oh, yes. You were there when I came. I think I came in...
You came after Vera Andrews left.
Left. 45, maybe? Well, I was at Winchester, 43 to 44. And then I came to Newton, to the Old Horace Mann, 44 to 45, and then I came. Oh, I remember the day she came in. And somebody said, I said, who's that woman? And Floss Hickey said, that's Midge March from the Ward School. I think she wants you to go there. Oh, I said, I don't know if I want to leave.
You didn't know what a good bunch.
I didn't know
the bunch. What a good bunch we had. Somebody asked me if ever called her anything except Miss March, and I said we did call her Midge.
But for a long time we couldn't do it.
No.
I was saying that to someone. We always called her Miss
March.
March.
Miss March,
And she'd
not
say,
Mildred.
Call me Midge, call me Midge. We couldn't do it, you know?
We weren't brought up that way.
No.
You guys better boogie. It's starting to rain already. It's sprinkling.
Is it?
It's going to. We better get in. I think, why don't we take the photo inside? I mean, can we?
Maybe we should do it in the gym at your school.
Can we go in the gym? That's a good idea.
Can you show us how to get to the gym?
Turn all the way to the end, turn left, and down like a half a flight of stairs, and through the doors straight to the right. Okay.
Well, we can wait.
My husband is older than you, and all his friends who are in the 60s. The children say to me,
You're going to have to get help.
Always went.
We're going to go. Oh, see me up there on the stage.
Really? I can't see that far. Okay, so now is that all right? Would you? The place looks so much smaller. It looks older too. It's smaller. I mean, I spit down this bed. It looks smaller, doesn't it? I came from Brighton. I remember sitting in Brighton. We used to sit like this, you know, hands full.
It's like a military. This is the way it works in the military.
So Teddy, Ruben, how many kids you got these days?
I have 2 kids. One of them's married. My oldest one's married. The oldest one's in business with her. 2 boys? No grandchildren. 2 boys. No grandchildren yet, which is very impressive. Yeah, the younger one, Brad. There's room for him, right? Christ's sake, there's room for everybody in that business.
Like Stanley, who's still in the
box business, yeah. Holding boxes.
coming the furthest. That's the most unusual.
Yeah, it's not bad. I'm still doing all right. What are you doing? We're doing fine. This place looks so much smaller.
You know what?
Maybe it's because I was little.
How are you?
Good to see you. Great.
I've been on a few LBs since I've seen you last.
Oh, good. Is your golf game any good?
Hey, Stan. How are you?
Yeah,
how are you?
Never lying.
all right, Larry, do you need help in getting people together?
Upstate New York.
We could have some people standing on the sitting on the stage, and some people.
Okay.
And I remember your brother David was friendly with the boy next door, David Levine.
That's right.
And I think your brother went to medical school.
Alan went to.
Oh, his name is Alan. What?
Tufts Dental.
He went to dental. All those crayons. Do you remember? How well do you?
Can you guys see?
How are you? I got so excited when I saw you.
Short guys in front. Come on down here with me. That's what I remember, Steve. Steve Miller.
I was always next to him. I always wanted to be in the back row.
Okay.
I'm not in the pool. I refuse to be direct. 15 years older than I was.
Yeah, Paul, maybe you and I in the front. Berkowitz, you get up at the back.
Come on.
You're the tall guy. Where's my question?
Some people I should not. Come
on.
You're down with me.
Come on, down on your knees. Let's go.
Watch out.
A half hour to wander around the school. You have access to all of the facilities. We expect you to take a shower after you use the gym. And when we go back, dinner will be served.
Breaking windows one afternoon.
Oh, they did.
One afternoon, they decided they were going to break all the windows, and I was with them. I left. I said, I'm not going to do that. And I'm leaning on his phone.
I wasn't so.
And you know what?
Oh, I need help. Staying down.
Okay.
Thank you.
I cut it up by hours for last year for my taxes this year. I think I put in a good hours.
We're all set.
I'm back.
Hey guys, we're we're ready. Charlotte, we're ready.
Okay, last
Take a look at the camera, please. We're ready.
I was so impressed with you.
Gail, what? Gail, aren't I supposed to be sitting next to you?
Stanley, you're blocking.
Stan, get in the picture. This is a single shot.
It varied, but they were always nice kids. I remember a lot, but first and yours was probably the second class I had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I taught 10 years in Maine. But this was a very different environment from the school I had.
Oh, yes.
I was in Augusta. Well,
From Maine to Jerusalem.
Because I didn't know many Jewish people, except in college. I went to Columbia, and I had friends there that were. But people were very accepting. It never was any question except it was a learning experience for me.
It must have been quite a culture shock, though.
No, it wasn't a shock.
No? You had been at Columbia, you said?
I did my work. I got my bachelor's and master's both at TC in Columbia.
She has a master's in administration, and she resisted leaving the administrative environment for teaching. She was invited to get her PhD at Harvard, and she refused to do that so she could continue teaching students in elementary school. And she has her brothers and sisters and family members are all highly accomplished. Her brother was a senior director of Fidelity Funds, and a lot of other people in the family that I've come to know through Frances. So she's a very high-class broad.
How many years ago did you retire?
22.
And how many years at Ward School?
30. I taught 40 years. And I decided when I was 62, I could afford to retire. And I didn't want to be the old teacher because I was older than most of them. And you know, you don't want to say, well, you know, she can't do this or that. And so I just figured, well, I would retire and I would go to Hawaii in the winter and stay in Phillips in the summer. And then your plans changed because my oldest sister needed a home. She'd lived 40 years with a woman, and the woman wasn't very well, and they didn't want her there anymore. And so, you know, I said, oh, why don't you come home and stay here? And she was diabetic. So they said she had a gallbladder attack. She was in the hospital in Portland. They said, you know, it's pre-anemic leukemia. She won't live. Anyway, she came home. She lived 13 years.
Did you ever get to Hawaii?
Oh, yes, I went back again. I've been 4 times.
Yeah, good.
It's
a long trip.
So, how do you feel about education, the way it's changed along the years?
Well, I'm not close to the, well, I don't.
I'm talking about in your 20 years.
30 years. Well, it didn't change that much. As Kay says, we were doing things that people said, you know, were progressive then, they're just starting now, they don't know that they were done in school. Well, you saw his camp, and I think he follows the philosophy of Ward School. Creative, and you treat people differently. You know, we're all different. And it's the same thing with kids. You can't put them in a mold and say, you know, when I was a child in school, we sat with our hands folded like this, or one school I went to, you held the grass to the side, and you raised your hand, and you know, you didn't have any feeling, they didn't know you were much different than everybody else. And you know, you learn how to cope if you were a little brighter than some of the others, and you wanted to. I used to have stuff in the back of my notebook that I could flip over and read, you know, add to it, because, you know, we had a lot of memory work. You know, a noun is such and such, and a verb is such and such, and you should say so and so, and you know, you're taught like parrots.
They don't have nouns and verbs anymore.
You know, so, you know, something, the way you were taught, and like it, you could teach a different way, and that's one thing when I came to Ward School. Nobody said you've got to do it this way.
Fran, how about differences in attitude?
Well,
you said some interesting things about parent involvement back when we were at elementary school.
Oh, definitely. Ever any project we had, the parents are always willing to come. I was reading about the Halloween parties. What fun you had with those.
Yes.
And you happen to get interested in outdoor education things? Your father was, you know? And your scouting?
That's true.
So we have other people to thank besides just the school, you know, it starts early. But I remember when I first came, Ada Maglin invited me to come to her house to meet the parents, which I thought was very nice. I was new, and you know, it makes it easy if you know something about what the children are going to be like. But the thing that I have been surprised is your attitude toward Mildred March. Because she was a different person to you children than she was to us teachers. Because I wasn't in the office. As I said, I never sent any kids in.
You never sent any kids in?
No, I don't remember. I remember sending any kids. I had the room and there was a little closet next to it. I think there was a supply room. And I could open the door and make it say, now go out to your office. That's great. And I didn't have to do any more than that.
We used to be sent to the club.
Yes.
Yes.
What's
What is the
that?
philosophy behind not learning cursive writing? Why did we not learn cursive writing?
I didn't know what manuscript was until I was told to teach it. I got a manual, but now it's handy. I have arthritis in my finger, and I can't do very good cursive writing. I used to be able to write legibly, but I had some classes we taught both. So I don't know how you missed out, but you must have been the beginning ones that had, because manuscript is easy, straight lines and round circles, that's all you have to do.
May I make a comment on that, and that is living in Europe, everybody writes the way we learn to write in the words.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's only Americans.
It's all manuscript?
Absolutely.
Method, is that?
And I expected when I opened my bank accounts and all, I would get the usual nonsense, and they took it calmly, and then I realized I was one of the it's only in America they write that cursive way. The Europeans hate it because they can't read it.
Right. Was it just us in the ward school, or was it the whole city?
The handwriting.
No, I think it was Watt School.
Really?
Yes,
I think so.
I think you're right.
That was my
I think it was
impression.
Watt School. I think Brookline did maybe, and so anyway.
It's amazing
Want
that
to
the
sit
school
down?
had that much autonomy from the...
Didn't we learn
They did.
cursive
But that's
somewhere?
what
The school-
they did have.
Yes, we had a choice.
Newton Watt School was the top school when I came. People other places had heard of Watt School. Even when I was at Columbia, why do you teach? You said Watt School.
That I remember. Now it comes back. And that was our introduction to it. Exactly right. Connecting our manuscript. That's how we
Why do you
trying to give us an introduction.
Why do you think the Ward School was identified as a particularly outstanding school? Why?
Well, probably they could measure some after when the people entered college, you think?
Say it again. Say that again.
Your preparation was good in high school? High school had a good reputation.
Yeah.
Newton School. A lot of people moved to Newton
That's right.
because the schools were good.
Yes.
But why was so much attention paid or focused on Ward School, where it could have been any?
Well, because it was different. You know, progressive education. It was
That was Miss March.
smart. You know, you didn't have to have rows of seats. You could move the furniture other ways. You could go on trips.
More autonomy than other schools.
You know,
Well, it must
the whole
have.
community came out of your school.
I don't know. This is something I was unaware of. Yeah.
And the fact that you people are still so interested in education, I think, says a lot too.
He was the sweetest man in the world.
Miss March? I think she got a degree from Boston University.
Yeah.
School of Education.
Did she teach before she became?
She must have. I don't know. She was from Rochester, New Hampshire, and I don't know where she taught first.
Was
She
she
may have
married?
gone to Keene Normal School.
I think she might have. It was quite close there.
You know how many years Miss March was at the school altogether? She was the first principal starting
Yes, she
in
was, but I don't know
1928.
what. I can't really remember.
Recollect the year she retired?
She was still there when you retired?
No. No.
Did you like her?
I liked her, yes. She wrote very nice notes to me when I retired.
You said she gave you a free rein and gave the teachers a
That's
free rein
right.
in the classroom, which is really...
And we had nice social meetings with the teachers. We were a very close group when Kate Tabor taught here. And then what happened, they wanted to take her teachers around the city, so they were all sent to different schools.
Oh.
And that year I worked as a consulting teacher, working with new teachers all over the city. So I went to all the schools. And you know, they're as different as the people who work in them. nowhere that I saw, you know, the same spirit of corps, I guess you say, that we had in those early days when.
What were the Christmas plays like? Yeah, it's a very interesting. I remember we did have some kind of Christmas program. What had to be very unusual.
What's your recollection of that?
I don't remember.
Huge menorah and this tiny.
I always figured that anything that I took from the Old Testament wouldn't be criticized, because we used to have, you know, opening exercises, and I thought, well, this is the same religion.
Right.
So I thought, and I never had any problem about.
23rd Psalm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every day?
Every day. Every day. Pledge of allegiance.
And it didn't hurt us a bit, did it? Never hurt us.
You know, people I meet out in the world, and they know that I know the 23rd Psalm, they can't believe it. Where did you learn the 23rd Psalm? I said, in elementary school. You gotta be kidding. I even know how to salute the flag and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
All of those things.
How many remember the which stands one nation under God? Is indivisible.
Indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
No under God.
No under God.
You're hungry, tired, and you're poor.
That came from junior high school. Under God came
Now how about the 23rd tongues? He leads me to lie down in green pastures. Beside the still waters, he restoreth my soul. He guideth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake.
Because thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, like a cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life.
I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
And we said this.
We said it every day. Every day.
And you know, this was something that we all did together.
Yeah, every day, right. We even folded our hands on our desk.
That's right.
Nobody got struck by lightning.
Right.
Here we are.
That's unconstitutional.
I know. Can you think of something some of us were very, very good at?
Oh, my Lord.
Good at. The next question.
And I guess finger painting.
Marty, sure?
Yeah.
Marty, you were good at finger painting. She said she remembers that.
That's because I kept telling her last night about it. I remember the fancy work, and one of them was done by Miss Mackenzie, who would come over. Remember, she'd come over and she'd, you know what you do? That's a good idea, and you would leave it alone because you couldn't do it as well.
Right.
She's the co-author of what's in our house.
Collections of Larry and Kenny Capers. Larry and Kenny Capers.
Oh, I don't remember anything bad.
See.
Could you tell the Sherman twins apart?
Well, I had Larry in the swamp one.
Really?
And I kept him on.
You did. You did. But you let him get away with it.
Yeah.
I love it.
No kidding.
One of the things I was going to do was thank you last night for not telling anybody, because, well, I figured it out later that she knew all the time, but she never let on.
A notice came through that said there's going to be an art class, City of Newton art class at Underwood School for anybody who wants to go. My mother said, Martin, isn't this wonderful? This is an opportunity for you. I'm sure I said, Hebrew school's enough. Jeez. But she sent me, and the first day of school, I got there early at the Underwood School, and as you remember, Underwood was different from Ward in many respects, mainly because they hardly ever saw a Jew down there. And she was sitting around the class before it began, and one kid, maybe Joey Brennan, let's say, Joey says,
what religion are you? He says to the boy next to him. Well, I'm Protestant. What are you? Roman Catholic. What are you, Catholic? Comes to me. I said, Jewish. And a few guys go, and I had no idea what that was all about. I mean, all you kids went to school, we hardly ever saw anybody who wasn't Jewish. So the class was a fun class, and I came home that night, dinner, my mother said, Marty, how was your first day of art class? I said, it was fun. Well, tell me about it. And I said, gee, a curious thing happened before class, Mom. And I told him about that. Yeah. And Mother said, that's it, that's it. So I went there the one day, and I could have been a contender.
This is one of my best friends, and I knew him up until the time I got engaged in California. He was an engineer, and he was drafted. He went in the service, went to Fort Dix, and got sick, had the flu, and they sent him out on duty, and he died. So he died at the age of 26.
Oh, tragic.
Jimmy Gordon. You remember Jimmy? Yeah. I just wanted everybody to remember him for a second.
He had a wonderful imagination, Jimmy Gordon.
He was a good kid.
He used to walk home with him sometimes, and he would tell stories. He would make up stories.
Really?
And you wanted to see him again because these stories were...
He was an only child, and he was pretty much a latchkey kid. His mother did things in real estate or whatever, and his father ran owned the movie theater in Waltham, whatever theater that was. The what? Embassy Theater. And so he was alone a lot, and we became very, very good friends. But just a little.
And I want to thank you people for my gifts.
Oh, it's
much appreciated.
Our pleasure. Do you have any special remembrances or memories?
Very happy ones. And this will be added to them.